Hello everyone, welcome to Level 1, Day 1 NLG online class. My name is Isabella and I will be your instructor for this Level 1. All right, so I'll just go ahead and check if the audio. All right, so I think that everyone can hear me nice and clear. And I hope that everyone has joined our class today, and the registration link is still open. So if you're here but you haven't registered, then after this class you can certainly register, just so that we know who's attending this class and who's interested in it. All right, so today I'd like to welcome everyone who's new to this Level 1 class. And of course, if you're here to revise the content, if you have taken Level 1 before and you're here to revise and to refresh your memory of the Level 1 course, then you're welcome to do that as well. Now remember that this is Level 1 class, so of course there will be energy activation of the Level 1 frequency. So if you're just here for revision, and if you're still in Level 1, then you can certainly receive the energy activation from me. But if, let's say you're in Level 2, 3, or 4, and you're just here for that revision, for the Level 1 revision, then please do not receive the energy activation later on. So that's just a heads up. But of course, before I activate everyone, I will certainly give you another reminder. All right, so before we start our class, I'd like to kindly remind everyone that with our YouTube channel and our Facebook page, of course, you can follow those official pages so that you can, keep yourself posted with announcements and the latest post, class events, etc. And our class is currently live on YouTube and Facebook at NLG, Energy University. So if you have friends or family members who's interested in today's class, you can certainly send them the link because we've just started. So there's still time to send them the link if they want to join in today's class as well. And of course, later on, I will show you the QR code for you to join the Level 1 and 2 Telegram groups. And in there, of course, we will post announcements as well as class events, etc. And of course, the most important thing is the formula set. Okay, so for each class level, we will post the formulas on these Telegram groups. So it is really important that you join these groups. All right, so before we start our class, and for anyone here who is new to NLG, and of course, who's just started with Level 1 NLG, I'd like to introduce myself a little bit. Well, as I've said, my name is Isabella, and I am an NLG instructor. I typically teach Level 1 and 2 in English. And I'm now a Level 5 NLG participant. I started, like many of you here, from Level 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Just a little bit about my background is that I used to study in Australia, and so hence the accent. But generally, I'm just an NLG participant like many of you, and then I volunteer after achieving a lot of great results myself using NLG energy. And I started with NLG at the end of 2021, and then all the way until now. And as your NLG instructor, what I'll do is I will present you with information about NLG, just a little bit of introduction at this Level 1. And of course, I'll give you examples of, the points that we'll be talking about. And there's also the NLG energy activation. So that is, it's just as important, but it's probably one of the most exciting things for a lot of NLG participants when you come in and you get that activation. And for many people, they feel that energy straight away. So something's really, really exciting for everyone. And then, of course, throughout a class level, we'll present you with the formulas. Okay. And the formulas is basically after you get activated, you can then use those formulas to channel this energy frequency that you've been activated. So with that, there's a lot of, formulas with different purposes, and that helps you to improve your health, as well as to, for example, stimulate your stem cells, which is something quite exciting that we'll be talking about later on. And so those are some of the, I guess, basic structure of NLG when you come into this foundation level. And well, something about me is that even though I'm an NLG instructor, but I'm fine with people just calling me by my first name, Isabella. That's all right, because I understand that we all come from different backgrounds, maybe different countries and cultures, and I'm quite comfortable with people just addressing me using this friendly, in a friendly term. So Isabella is fine. Okay, so some basic information about NLG. So you may have heard about NLG from your friends or family members, or maybe online, and you want to give it a go. Now, something really important that you need to know about NLG is that it is a practice-based method. And what that means is that you are required to, of course, put it into practice to see the results. And with your consistent practice, you'll then be able to achieve benefits in many aspects of your life. Now, some of you, when you come in initially, you feel improvement for your health. And then later on, you can also give that healing support to other people as well. And of course, NLG can support us even beyond that, not just with our health, but other aspects of life as well. And currently, NLG has 5 class levels, from level 1 to level 5. I'll just quickly show you this slide so that it's better for everyone to visualize it. All right. Now, in order to proceed to the next class level, of course, you have to fully complete the previous class. So, for example, to participate in level 2, of course, you have to complete level 1. And so level 1 consists of 2 sessions. Level 2 consists of 1 session. And then as the class level goes up, you'll notice that the level of session will increase as well. And then level 3 will consist of 3 sessions. Level 4 consists of 5 sessions. And of course, our current highest level is level 5, and that consists of 13 sessions. Now, generally, level 1 and 2 can be completed online, much like what we're doing here. So you can take it via Facebook or YouTube, and generally it is free. Okay, and of course, levels 3, 4, and 5, we completed those classes in person. But if you've noticed, or if you've heard from your friends and family members who've done NLG level 3, then you would know that Mr. Lei, who's the founder of NLG, actually arranged quite a number of opportunities for a lot of participants to participate level 3 online as well. And so with level 3, okay, online with level 3. And then level 4 and 5, generally you need to complete them in person. Now, children as young as 8 years old to 12 years old can also participate in NLG, and of course, with parental supervision. And it is recommended that both parents, if you wish for your children to participate in this method, then both parents need to be NLG participant as well, and you need to actively participate and practice the formulas, as well as to upgrade yourself in terms of your love and morality, so that you can support your kids in the best way possible when they come into NLG. Because what happens is with young children, a lot of the time, if they don't really understand the benefits or the techniques of NLG, that could create, frustration and or boredom. And then afterwards, if they lose interest, it can be very challenging to have them come back in the future. And we know that this method is very, very beneficial. So of course, we want to make sure that when our children comes in, that they would have that they can make the most out of this method. And of course, other than these 5 class level, as I've just explained, there are also 3 very special programs that NLG can join later on if you're interested. So number 1 is NLG application to agriculture, forestry, and fishery. So of course, this would benefits a lot of farmers out there. But if you're not farmers, but you're just interested in agriculture, or you have a little garden that you want to take really good care of, then of course you can also apply an NLG to those sort of projects. And the second program is NLG application to assist couples to have intelligent, healthy babies, even with infertility concerns or other diseases that related to that matter. Now, recently, if you've heard, if you know anyone who's in Loop 3, then you would know that recently Mr. Lay did arrange for a NLG intelligent, for a intelligent NLG babies course, which is the program that I talked about just now. And a lot of people maybe become really interested, young parents in particular, and it's really, really exciting to, see a lot of people starting to have an interest in those type of program, so that we can, understand more about our participants, and therefore that is great feedback for us in terms of, future classes. And of course, with these sort of programs, something that we highly, recommend to everyone. But of course, it requires you to participate at least to level 3, okay? For both of the 2 programs that I talked about just now. And then the third program is the NLG Instructor Training Program. And this program is, of course, closely selected by Mr. Lay himself. In order to participate in that program, you're required to complete level 4 or above. All right. Now, as I've said, NLG is a practice-based method. So it means that you should practice it every day with quality and consistency. And NLG is not an alternative treatment. So really, it shouldn't replace your current medical treatments. Let's say if you have an illness that you're treating right now, then of course it's really important that you continue with your treatment plans according to your doctor's consultation. And then you can practice NLG alongside as a separate thing. And as you practice NLG, if you feel any difference or improvements, then you can inform your doctor so that they can perhaps readjust if needed and provide you with most appropriate treatment plans possible. And of course, if you do have a treatment plans, please do not change it by yourself. Always consult with your doctor. Always talk to them and see what their recommendations are. And And of course, energy is not political or religious, so be very mindful of that when you share information about energy with others so that they can understand about this method most precisely. Now, I'd like to just spend a few minutes to talk a little bit about, well, give a brief introduction about Mr. Lei. So Mr. Lei, his name is Phúc Văn Lei, and he is the energy founder. He was born in Bien Hoa province, which is now Dong Nai province of Vietnam. And at the age of 22, he joined his family and he moved to the United States. So he is Vietnamese by blood. And then he encountered this great opportunity to learn this really special method that he's now shared with a lot of us. And as he applied this method to himself and observed, really amazing outcomes, then, he just take, little baby steps to share it with other people so that now a lot of us can also enjoy this method together. And at the start of 2020, he went to Vietnam, and together with a lot of energy volunteers, they started to put together classes for everyone. And then in 2021, he then returned to the United States of America, and he continued to arrange many more classes for people online and offline. And he's been teaching these methods for quite a number of years, but generally, we don't call him teacher or master because he doesn't like that. So generally, it's just Mr. Lei, or in Vietnamese, we call him Uncle Phúc. So he said that it's a more friendly way of addressing each other, because he doesn't like it when people addressing as teacher, because he said that he's really just a technician, really, for as a comparison, because he said that this method is for everyone, and he happened to know first, so he liked to share it with everyone, and he's just sort of like a technician to connect everyone and share this information so that we can all enjoy this method and the benefits that this method brings together. All right, so now I have some class recommendation before we start our class. So of course, coming into this class, we have a few points that we like to mention just to make sure that this class, just want to make sure that everyone can get the most out of this class. So number one, please arrange to attend the course on time to receive the activation fully. Being on time also show respect for the instructor and everyone in class. Also, it helps to avoid network congestion when too many people decide to join at the same time. Number two, choose your study space. Please set up your study space in a quiet place away from distraction during the activation and practice session. 3, copyright energy content without our permission is prohibited. Please do not record or distribute our video lecture online without our consent. All online courses will be recorded for tracking purposes on our energy platform. Number 4, you can attend our course by phone, laptop, iPad, etc. Ensure you check your device before attending our online classes. 5, we will have time for question about the course formula practice recommendation. So please save your question until the end of the session. Or, as I've said, I will give you the QR code later on. So that is a great space where you can ask a question, because your question would really benefit a lot of other participants as well. Now, just some note is that NLG method is provided by the Energy Source University to support anyone seeking assistance from NLG. NLG online courses are completely free. As I've said, level 1 and 2, there's no fees involved. And Energy techniques and information is for educational purposes only and cannot be substituted for the advice or care of a medical professional. It does not replace doctors' diagnosis and medical treatment. We recommend that participants consult a doctor before undertaking alternative health improving methods. We will not accept any liability or warranty or not be responsible to any individual if you do not see any improvements. Energy participants are responsible for their current state of health and will need to monitor their progress. Energy participants need to have self-awareness and follow the instruction and formulas to achieve desired outcomes. And of course, energy is not a religion, neither it is a meeting ground for ritual activities. Energy does not advise participants to give up or join any religion or political party. Energy University does not participate in any religion or political institution of any country. Okay, so hopefully that's very clear for everyone, and also make it very clear when you try to share information about energy to other people. All right. I think now, before we dive into the actual class content, I will go ahead and transmit healing energy, everyone. So if you're new here, this is a very, very common energy transmission that if you have been watching our live stream, then you'll see that Mr. Lee also transmit healing energy to everyone on a daily basis. So I thought that before we start our class, I'll just go ahead and transmit healing energy for everyone so that we can have a really fresh start and, really ready and make the most out of this class. All right, so now this is healing energy transmission. And if you haven't received any healing transmission or you haven't done self-healing in the past 6 hours, then you are okay to receive this transmission from me. So what you do is you look into my forehead and you visualize energy going from my forehead, going into your forehead. So generally you would, you do that and then you let that flow of energy just absorb into your body and let it just, flow freely. And of course, you need to visualize directing that energy, as well as recite in your head that you wish to receive this healing energy from me. Okay, all right. So I'll go ahead, set my timer to 3 minutes and 30 seconds. All right, so I hope that everyone's ready. This is healing energy transmission before we start the class. All right, let's start, everyone. Okay, so we have just completed the healing energy transmission. Now that's very different from the energy activation. Okay, that was an energy activation, that's just a healing transmission that I like to send to everyone just so that we have a fresh start to our class. All right, so let's dive into our class content today, everyone. And we'll start it off by I'll just explain very quickly these logos, since we're at level 1 and we're certainly new to this method. All right, so you can see on the screen here, these are the current 3 logos of NLG. So first of all, we have the Cosmic Divine Light logo on the left-hand side of the screen. And in the middle is the NLG, Energy University. And then lastly is the Warm Loving Home logo. So these 3 logos in this sequence were introduced to us in April 23rd, 2023. And on that day, Mr. Lei shared with us that he's able to unlock the 3rd code of the Cosmic Divine Light, which you can see here. It results in, this is the latest version now of this logo, which in the middle here, you can see this perfect circle that represents that cosmic light that embraces all being, and of course contains lots and lots of great lessons and the energy that we're looking to harness. Now, if you have a look at previous classes, and of course, if you decide to participate in level 3 and above, Mr. Lei will certainly explain to you from the very start when he worked with this pattern, when it used to be called Chomdong, which is bronze drum, which is a concept that I guess some of you might have heard of, or maybe you've seen it. So initially, at the center of this pattern here, there used to be 14 arrays that looks like a big sun, and then Mr. Lei gradually decoded and unlocked the energy within, so that then we can start using this energy frequency once he activates us, throughout the classes activation. And Mr. Lei will explain a lot further about this, if you decide to participate from level 3 onwards. And of course, when you have that great lessons, it requires to build that discipline. Okay, so when we have these lessons and these energy, then it requires to have discipline for us to build projects and to basically turn theories into practice. And in this case, it is turning this energy into very practical projects that can benefit our community. And of course, there's no limit to the energy of Cosmic Divine Light, which is why it allows us to do all sorts of great things, as you might have heard of, or maybe you've experienced it yourself, with the help from other energy participants. And once we're able to go from energy to these more practical projects enabled by this energy, then of course we can help to build a better world. And what we're interested is to build that warm, loving home that everyone can have. So this portraits a family with parents and children. All of them have a very, very special connection with one another. And that is the genuine love and bond. And of course, we need to have that material benefit as well. That's why there's this little roof that represent things like shelter and food and all of the material benefits that, of course, we certainly need to have that help us to enjoy our life much better, but this time in a much more loving way. And you can see that there are 13 heartbeats representing 12 months in a year, and then the 13th heartbeat indicates humanity's energy connection to the outer space civilization. Okay, so I guess 2 of the most asked question that, from the information that I share with you just now, a lot of people have questions such as, how can we make sense of what you just say, the outer space civilization, what is it, what it looks like, and where does this energy source comes from. So at this foundation level, I'll give you a pretty simple explanation just to prepare you to go to the next, to the higher class level. So when we talk about the outer space civilization, or, in other words, that cosmic divine light that we're talking about, where we harness that energy from outer space civilization, you can visualize it as it comes from, say, a very advanced country, okay, that is very far away from us. There are beings who exist there who are highly intelligent, very sophisticated, and they have, all of the more advanced version of, technology, wisdom, science, virtue, etc. And everything about them is, of course, just much, much better and more abundant. And there are enough resources to support all of us. And the good thing is that they're willing to support us. So at this foundation level, we just leave it at that. Okay, so outer space civilization, you don't necessarily have to visualize exactly what it is, but for this foundation level, I'll just give you some of these examples so that you can visualize it better. And of course, this energy source that comes from this civilization, and it has existed for a very long time. And of course, it has been here with us, for a very, very long time. But the question is, which frequency of this energy have we been able to utilize? Because there's many different levels, different frequencies that are equivalent. I guess you can, look at a school system where we have the kindergarten level, we have the primary school level, we have high school level, etc. So when we talk about energy frequency, it's very much like that as well. So it's just an easier way for you to visualize it. And however you approach this energy source, that will determine, how much of that energy, how strongly your energy connection will be. And of course, that then will determine how effectively you can put forward, projects to help with the, with the three challenges that humanity still face today. But talking about the three problems for humanity that here at NLG we try to resolve using this energy. So the three problems consist of wars and conflicts, poverty and hunger, illnesses and diseases. Okay, so before, of course, I guess we find multiple ways to tackle these issues. But as we look at society today, that remains pretty, I guess, limited. Okay. And the point is that here at NLG, we're really trying to resolve this using this energy, where this energy will help us to become a better version of ourselves, as well as having this energy will allow for things that you thought wasn't possible before. But it's not that it's not possible, but it's more so that we have been disconnected. So that's why we forget of the way to use this. So now it's the time for us again to learn about this, and together, learning energy together, we practice together as a community, then hopefully we can, gradually resolve these issues, so that we are no longer, or at least we can minimize it. Now, you might think of these, three problems, and you might think in your head, well, I'm here just to, perhaps work on myself first. And I'm not, so much interested in these, three issues for now. But I highly recommend that you also look at this from a more personal perspective as well. Thinking about it at a large scale perspective is great, but also a more personal. For example, illnesses and diseases is quite straightforward. It's not just other people dealing with this matter, but of course, a lot of people, a lot of energy participants, before they're coming into this method, they struggle with, health issues as well. And when we talk about wars and conflicts, of course, the bigger issue is wars. But when we talk about conflicts happens a lot, in our everyday life. So it could be, conflicts within family, conflicts within yourself, even, or, at your workplace, etc. So, of course, in our lives, there's a lot of things that happened that are not within our control. So how do we, I guess, have better solution when it comes to resolving these conflicts? And then thirdly, when we talk about poverty and hunger from a more personal perspective, well, we can certainly think about the level of economy that directly, affect us. And I understand that a lot of people around the world still can't afford their basic needs, and they can't afford to feed their family, and they can't ensure to have a stable source of income. So there's a lot of people still, homeless, and a lot of people still live under poverty every day. So that is something that we like to look at, using this energy to resolve it as well. So how do we go about using this energy to resolve these three issues exactly? Now, the elements to have, you can see here, this yellow line. So the elements to have are genuine moral values. Of course, you need to really maintain this and prioritize this. And of course, we need the 5 forms of love. Okay, now the 5 forms of love, before you come into NLG, it doesn't really matter what you do, and whether you have been loving towards other people. Now, the point is, if you haven't been loving to other people, and then you come into NLG and you realize that was a mistake, that you should have been more loving to others, and you want to take this opportunity to really change yourself and become a better version of yourself, then that is great as well. So remember that we're not here to judge you for the thing that you've done, but what matters more is how you're going to move forward from here, knowing about the information that will present you about love and morality. Because when we talk about these elements, a lot of the time people think that it is a given, and that is so cliche, and for some people it remains very abstract. We talk about morality, we talk about love, but what do they really mean, right? But here at NLG, we don't just talk about it. We encourage everyone to practice these elements. So put them into practice, and by having acts of kindness, and to really change the way that you think about yourself, about everyone else, about the world. So let's start with, let's just dig a little bit deeper into the 5 forms of love. So here we break it down for you. When we talk about the 5 forms of love, what we mean is self-love. So that's the number 1. Love for family, love for country, love for humankind, and love for all living things. Okay, now these 5 forms of love, we put them into this sequence, meaning that when you come into NLG and you practice this method, this is the order in which you need to, that you are recommended to, upgrade yourself, upgrading your love, according to this order here. Okay, so the first element that you need to work on is self-love, and then love for family, and then love for country, and then love for humankind, and then love for all living things. Okay, now I understand that a lot of people might feel a little puzzled as to why self-love is the first form of love that we need to refine. And some people might even think, well, that is equivalent to being selfish, right? When you put yourself first like that and you think about self-love first without thinking about other people or the world around you or the environment, etc., etc. But let me ask you this very realistic question, is that how would you support other people when you're not in a state or you're not in a mindset that is fit to support other people? I understand that we all have, when we say that, oh, I like to do something for my community, I like to do something for my country, or, looking at the world, I like to contribute just a very small part, to people who are still suffering, who live under poverty. But if you don't take care of yourself first, physically, mentally, there's not a lot of things that you can do for other people. So that's why we start with self-love first. Okay. And for example, even if you say, oh, I like to put my family first, my family is everything to me, that is lovely, but how would you support them if you struggle with problems, or with even with your own thoughts, when you're physically and mentally not in a very good place? Then how do you really take care of your family? So now that you're conscious about this idea, what we'd like to recommend you do is you need to go to greater extent to take good care of yourself, because when you're not happy, or when something happened that occupies your mind, sometimes we neglect these sort of things. And so that's why self-love comes in first, and it needs to be very consistent. And of course, it's something that we recommend that you really need to practice when you step into energy at this foundation level. So level 1, we suggest that you work on, of course, first of all, self-love, and then love for family. Okay. And then level 2, we'll continue to work on the next one, which is love for country. Okay. So that is at level 2. And then from level 3 onwards, our goals will be the last 2 forms of love for humankind and love for all living things. And of course, as you move up the class level, it's not that you work on one forms of love and then you leave the others behind. No, it is more that you've already learned of the previous one, and so you maintain them throughout, so that by the time that you reach level 3, that you understand these 5 forms of love very precisely, and you continue to upgrade these forms of love in terms of how you express them in your daily life. Okay, and the importance of balancing your mind and maintaining, composure is also considered self-love. So when we talk about what we call the +1 -1 frequency, which is very much like, you can think about it very much like our heart rates. Okay, so our average heart rates rest at 60 to 80 beats per minute. And that's the frequency in which we can also connect and receive energy most effectively. So when we're in that frequency and then we receive this energy, then in return, this energy will then support the cells in our body, which is basically just like the food and the water that we consume every day, or the air that we breathe every day, every second, really. So the cells without energy is like human without oxygen. So once you understand the importance of the cells, of energy for the cells in our body, I guess you will be more, voluntarily, that you'll be, more willing to prioritize and to maximize your energy practice, as well as to going back to this core, which is the 5 forms of love and morality, so that that when you're in that state, it puts you closer and closer to the +1 -1 frequency. Now, you might think, okay, so we just talk about, and there's a lot of information. So love, morality, and these +1, -1 frequency, and then then there's energy connection, and then the cells in our body as well. What are we talking about really here? And how does that relate to, in particular, these love for family, right? So you'll find after level 1, we have, of course, as I've said, formula set that you can practice for yourself. But once you get it right, once you can maintain yourself in that frequency to connect to this energy, you don't just help to support yourself. You can also support your family members. So in that way, that is also one way to express that love for family. Okay. Because I understand that for many of us, we don't necessarily experience, I guess, very high level of happiness at home. For many people, a home, it's not really a home. It's more just a shelter, because you don't get to connect properly with the people in your family, and that's really, really sad. There's no warmth. There's no, a lot of people experience conflicts within their own home. So there are many, many reasons that arise. So when you get to express your self-love, meaning that you become a better version of yourself, you regulate your feelings, without asking other people to change themselves, then when you are a part of a family, when you become positive, you can also attract and inspire other people. And the closest one to you, of course, your family, and you can inspire them to also work on themselves as well. Okay, so you see how when you get that love right at the very start, that is from yourself, working with yourself first, how that can then expand, that love can then expand and can be shared with the people around you. So that's why at this foundation level, we highly recommend that you need to work on the first 2 forms of love. Because it's as simple as, if you want to have good things, if you want to meet good people, and you want to have good opportunity, then of course you need to show kindness first. You don't wait for other people to show you that kindness. You give it first, and you'll then receive it later in many other forms. It's not that you help a person with one task and then you expect that person to return the favor. A lot of the time you help that person, but then someone else will help you with other things. So that's how this force of attraction, okay, this is how this positivity, when it relates into energy, works. And when you can become a better version of yourself, then of course you can also support your family, and from there we'll be able to build that warm, loving home, according to the logo that you saw just now. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the +1 -1 frequency, because I mentioned it earlier. And I guess that if you're new here at LG, then it sounds a little bit, novel to some people. So you can see here the +1 -1 frequency of an energy participant is the same as the creator's love. Our creator continuously sharing this loving energy with all of us. To receive this energy, you need to have enough wisdom to understand 3N, neither bad nor good, neither happy nor sad, neither love nor hatred. It all depends on your way of looking at things. Leave your personal preferences and personal emotion to embark on the soul journey of love. Now, when we talk about our creator, once again, energy, it's not religious, it is not political, and the information that we share with you are simply for you to decide in terms of how you can, how you understand these information. and how you can then apply it so that you can benefit yourself as well as other people around you. So when we talk about the +1 -1 frequency, you can think about it as essentially, I guess you can call it the cell's most favorite frequency. Okay, so it is really, really important for the cells in our body because they get to connect, they get to receive this energy source from outer space civilization when we regulate ourselves into this frequency. Okay, and once we're in this frequency, it is also when we can practice most effectively. Now, if you are not in this frequency, you can sit there for the entire duration of the practice, but you won't get 100% of that energy that you're looking for because your connection, in other words, your frequency, it's far from +1 -1. Okay, now it is not to say that we can't have emotion. It is not to say that we can't be happy or upset or excited, because of course it is part of our existence. It is part of our life that we get to experience these information. That makes, that's why our life is, in terms of our experience of life, makes it more diverse. But having this and knowing about this frequency, what it means is that, let's say, before, when you're upset, you can be upset for days and days. Okay, and once you have, I guess, an issue with someone, you sort of hold on to that issue, and it's very difficult to find a solution for it. But now, after you learn NLG and you understand the benefits of the +1 -1 frequency, that relates to this energy, that then relates to the cells in your body that can help you to improve your health, then it is more likely, I guess, that when you experience a very strong emotion, that you can then learn to regulate it back to the +1 -1 frequency. Okay, that means that you be more willing to remain calm, and also more willing to let go of negative things, because once you realize that being in this +1 -1 frequency is a lot more valuable, then there's no reason as to why we keep being upsetting and not wanting to resolve the issues with other people. Because when you're upset, you're angry, you're depressed, of course, that's not good for our body, and it's not great for our mind either. And now that you learn NLG, you also know that it's not great for the cells in your body, okay? Because they don't get to connect properly when you don't connect properly. And also, that is not great for the first forms of love, which is self-love, when you knowingly getting upset and getting really angry, that just the first person that you will hurt truly is yourself. And we need to also, I guess, be very realistic here. This is a moment where we need to be very honest with ourselves. Remember that we're not there to judge you for anything. And so this is a moment where I'd like to invite you all to just think. Okay, so in a day, other than when you're asleep, of course, how many hours do you think that you can maintain yourself in a +1 -1 frequency? Right, so just thinking back about, let's say, today, right? Today. Now, for example, things, I guess, at work or things at home, okay, might upset you in certain ways, or someone broke like a really bad news to you, or something happened, right? So when those things happen, how does that make you feel? And how do you react to that news or to that person? Okay, so were you able to maintain yourself in the +1 -1 frequency? Because remember that how you respond to the things around you, to the people around you in particular, really count. And if you want to come into energy, you want to make the most out of it. And now that we tell you about this information, it is certainly very, very important, everyone. It's really important to think about the ways in which you respond to other people and the way that you treat other people. Okay, so I suggest that from now on, when you see someone being very mean to other people, or do some things very upsetting, really take that as a lesson and please don't repeat it. Okay, remember to work on being positive rather than negative. Don't put yourself or other people in similar situations of getting upset, or hurt, because those sort of things just is simply not a kind things to do. So don't normalize being mean to other people, and don't normalize seeing other people being treated, well, mistreated really, and try to justify it for with reasons, because we know that when we're like that, we're not going to be in the frequency. And so this is really now time for you to I guess make that decision, right? Now that we've already shared with you these points, really important point. So moving on to this comparison here, which is one of our favorite comparison. It's really effective when it comes to explaining this point. So we know that it takes the chicken eggs 21 days to hatch. Same thing. Now, when we use this comparison, we'd like for you to just be very, build a very, I guess, strong sense of discipline when you come into a method like this. Because when you practice energy, of course, you need to get to a certain point so that you can start to expect these differences or these transformations that you're looking for. Now, for many of you, this happened when you're activated. Okay, so when you're activated and then you practice the formulas, you'll feel this improvement or these differences straight away. Now, if the mother hen doesn't give her full 21 days to the eggs, then of course the eggs can't really hatch properly. So the point is the consistent of your practice. And this practice, as I've said, it is a practice-based method, so it should be done on a daily basis. And you need to practice based on the formulas that we give to you. There's very clear instructions, very clear notes in there. And you really should practice accurately, adequately, and consistently. Now, if the formula instructs you to, for example, open your eyes while you practice, please do that. Okay, don't say, I have participated in other energy method before, and I find it easier to focus when I close my eyes. I would like to just humbly ask everyone that when you come into this energy method, it is really important that you follow the instruction. Okay, so here at energy, we wish that when you practice the formulas that you keep your eyes open. Don't close your eyes. Okay, and that is for you to practice this skill where basically you can see everything, you can hear everything, and maybe there are things that are moving around you. Maybe other people walking past, or you're looking at something as kind of moving. So basically you can see everything that's happening around you, but still you're able to focus on the things that you're doing, which is practicing the formulas. Okay. And same thing with the practice duration. If the formula said 5 minutes 30 seconds, please practice that formula for 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Don't change it. Okay, it shouldn't be shorter or longer. because the formulas that we share with you that has been practiced by many other NLG participants before is very carefully written and is standardized according to the method of the NLG. So if you ask, okay, so why is it 5 minutes and 30 seconds? Well, that is the set time that that Mr. Lee have studied, that has been standardized, and he decided on that. Okay, according to the method. Of course, he is the founder of this method. So basically, it's sort of like asking, why does this phone operate on iOS and then the other phone operates on Android? So it's just, it is because, you know, it's because it belongs to this method, and this is how we practice it. This is how we learn it, and it has been very effective for a lot of us. So it's basically how this method, how this formulas have been programmed. All right, so let me just how do we go for time? I think we have 25 minutes. All right. We have 25 minutes. So maybe I'll continue to share with you some more point for about 5 more minutes, and then I'll start to activate everyone. Okay. So let's talk a little bit more about the +1 -1 frequency, because a lot of people say that, yes, I know that I should regulate myself. I know that I should regulate my emotion, but a lot of the time I don't know how, right? I just can't hold it in. I can't hold in my anger, or, you know, I just happen to express it very, you know, dramatically. Now, the +1 -1 frequency is a technique that can be formed, that can be learned, that can be practiced and refined through your flows of thoughts, okay, through that state of self-regulation. It's something that you create for yourself, okay, through the practice of the 5 forms of love and moral values. And good news is that we're all capable of it. We're all capable of reaching this +1 -1 frequency, and we can work on it. We take these little baby steps. And of course, the reason why we should really accomplish this +1 -1 frequency, I've already explained to you. But I guess it relates more closely to your understanding of the 5 forms of love, okay? Because when we talk about the 5 forms of love, if you truly understand those forms of love and morality, then I guess it will be easier for you to enable the +1 -1 frequency. Now, for example, before I come into NLG, a lot of the time well, for some reason, I thought that it would be okay to respond, to react in a certain way. But then when I come into NLG, I then understand, for example, when I'm about to get angry, and then all of a sudden I think about self-love. And I thought, okay, there's no point in me getting angry. Basically, I'm just, you know, just one step further and further away from that +1 -1 frequency. So there's no use. And when I can't get connected to this energy properly, when I want to practice, I can't practice 100%. So knowing that, it doesn't matter what happened, then I learn to gradually sort of calm myself down. So it goes back to that, okay? Or with your family, when something happened, right, in your family, and you're about to get really angry, and then you think about that love for family, and that would be, it's basically, it's like a key that helps you to sort of unlock that that door, and to just learn to become you know, more calm. And it basically gives you really good reason, okay, as to why, and it helps you to restrain you know, really strong emotions as well. It is not that we don't feel emotion anymore, but we just learn to respond in ways that are a lot more effective, that are a lot more loving towards ourselves as well as towards other people. So I guess when you get to understand more about those forms of love, and you really need to be very conscious of those forms of love, at every given moment, so that gradually, you'll gain a lot more as you practice. All right, so I think that we're good for time, and I'll go ahead now and move on to the energy activation. All right. So level 1 consists of 2 activations, everyone, and you need to receive both activations so that you can complete these level 1 fully. And only when you receive both activation that you consider a level 1 energy participant. Okay. Otherwise, if you miss out on one of them, you need to wait until the next class. And you need to participate fully. You need to receive both activations so that you can proceed to level 2. So because we have 2 activations, so today I will give you 1 activation, and then tomorrow, in tomorrow's class, day 2, I will give you the 2nd activation. Now remember that for level 1, these activations are not the same. So today we'll do brain cell activation, and then tomorrow we'll do stem cell activation. And I'd like to play a demonstration video for everyone, because this is how you will receive this activation. Okay. Okay, so basically, I will set my timer to 1 minute and 30 seconds. That's how long I will activate your brain cell for. And so what you do is, of course, you keep your eyes open. You will look at my forehead, and then you visualize energy going from my forehead into your brain continuously, like this video that I will share with you in a moment, until I tell you that time's up. Okay, so the activation will be 1 minute and 30 seconds, as I've already said. And this is brain cell activation for level 1 participants only. Okay, so if you're in level 2, 3, 4, or 5, and you're just listening to the content of this class, make sure to not receive this activation, because this activation is for people who are in level 1, okay, and who are here for level 1. So I will play this demonstration video. So see how you would look at my forehead, and then you visualize energy going into your brain like so. Okay, so it's just going into your brain. Play that one more time. So continuously going into your brain, and make sure that you keep it here in your brain. There's no need to direct it elsewhere. So only into your brain like so. Okay, so looking into my forehead, and then visualize energy going into your brain. Okay, like that. All right, so I hope that has been very clear. All right, so now I will go ahead and activate everyone for 1 minute and 30 seconds. I will tell you when time is up, okay? And of course, during this activation, I will close my eyes, but you will have your eyes open, okay? So I hope that it has been very clear for everyone. And I'll set my timer. And all right, so I hope that everyone's ready. All right, so let's do this. This is brain cell activation for level 1 participants only. All right, and we'll start now. All right, so we've just finished the brain cell activation. Now, just a few notes before we practice the brain cell activation formula together. Now, when you, I guess when you receive that activation, some people might feel mild headache. Okay, that's fine. That's okay. It means that it's working. Okay, but if you don't feel anything, that's okay as well, because as long as you were in a state where you're very accepting and you want to receive the energy, then you've been activated. Okay, so don't worry too much about it. And as you continue to receive these activation and then you get to practice the formulas, then gradually that energy frequency will then sort of balance out, and that mild headache will disappear after a few days or maybe a week or so, but it's not going to be uncomfortable. Okay, now if you receive sorry, maybe we'll go ahead, because I think we're a little bit short in time. Maybe we'll go ahead and have a look at the formula now so that I can show you what an energy formula looks like and how to practice it when you're by yourself. Okay. All right, so you're gonna have a look here on the screen. So this is the first formula that I'll share with you, that you'll be practicing from today until tomorrow. And we'll only practice this formula today, everyone, okay, prior to day 2. And then once we start with day 2 of level 1, we will no longer practice this formula. So think about this as your homework. And this is really just to give you a taste of how to practice the formula. And for many of you, it's really interesting as well to feel the energy for the first time. So this is your opportunity. Okay, if you want to take it, then that's excellent. And we highly recommend that you do practice so that you can sort of build up that experience. So we will practice this formula together now, okay? Just so you understand how to go about it. And then after this class and before tomorrow's class, you can practice at home anywhere from 1 to 3 times on your own. You can practice this consecutively, or you can practice it a few hours apart. Really try to sit somewhere that you can feel calm and focus. And remember that if you are distracted for more than 30 seconds, just start again, okay? Don't sit right in front of an aircon or a fan, because you might not feel that warmth of energy very clearly. And because you're going to, practice this formula for 5 minutes and 30 seconds. So it's okay for you to blink, okay? You don't need to, keep your eyes open for the entire time. That would be very, very uncomfortable. And of course, during the practice, if you cough or if you sneeze, just continue on, okay? That it doesn't matter. And participants who are, I guess, currently unwell, then you can choose to sit or lie down according to your health, to the state of health right now. So basically any position that is comfortable for you, it's all okay. And early on, when you receive this activation, if you feel like your forehead is very tense, or as I've said, if you have that mild headache, then there is a technique I'll show you in terms of how to alleviate that. So basically, it's a breathing techniques. When you know that you have excessive energy, what you do is that you will breathe in through your nose for 3 seconds, and then you breathe out through your mouth for 6 seconds. So basically, you do short inhale and long exhale, and you do that 3 times, and that can help to get rid of the excessive energy. helps you to, you know, sleep better as well if you practice at night. Or if you feel that, you know, mild headache, or you feel tense at your forehead, that is just a techniques that Mr. Lee shared with us. It's really effective. So just keep that in mind. And of course, when you practice this formula, you need to keep your eyes open, and you need to certainly be very focused as well. All right, so, and by the way, when you practice, you need to recite these steps in your head, okay? You can just read them in your head. There's no need to say them out loud, because remember that we're directing the formulas and the energy through our thoughts, all right? So now we go through this formula together. I'll just read them out and then I'll explain it to you first before we practice them. So energy formulas, you'll see that there's different steps to it. It is very precise, very clear. So think about the first step in our energy formula. Think about it as a command, okay, or a request. So of course, when you put in a command or a request, it needs to be very clear, it needs to be very precise. So you can see here, step 1, you will recite silently once in your head, receive cosmic divine light, new era NLG level 1 frequency band, brain cell activation frequency. Okay, so that's the command. That's basically for the cells in your body to know exactly what it is that we're working on. Okay, and in terms of this energy, it's also set a very precise goal of what it is that we want to do. And then moving on to step 2, once again, and for every step, so 1, 2, 3, 4, you will recite them in your head. Okay, as I've said, you do not need to say them out loud. And so step 2, you think in your head, receive energy into the brain. So that means you visualize energy from outer space entering the brain. All right. And then you will recite in your head, receive first time, receive second time, receive third time. And of course, there's 3 to 5 seconds in between, 3 to 5 seconds of delay in between each of these. And the reason why we need to repeat it 3 times is, of course, once again, for the cells in our body, because they're very tiny and they're not like us, where, you know, they don't have that wisdom energy, which Mr. Lee will explain to you as you go up the class level. But basically, we need to make it very clear for the cells in our body, okay? Not to pressure you or anything. Don't feel pressured, okay? Don't think, oh my goodness, will the cells in my body understand what it is that I like to do? Don't worry. When you practice these formulas correctly as instructed, things would just, you will see, you know, these improvement. Of course, practice the formula with, you know, upgrading your practice of love and morality in your everyday life as well. And you see the results, and it'll be really amazing. And then you move to step 3, send energy from the brain into the ERC. And of course, you think this sentence in your head as well. Now, send first time, send second time, send third time with 3 to 5 seconds each time. Okay, so basically you'll go send first time, and then you wait for 3 to 5 seconds, and then send second time, and then you wait 3 to 5 seconds, send, excuse me, send third time. Okay, so I will play an audio, a demonstration audio later on while we practice, so that you know exactly how to go about practicing energy formulas. Now, when it says send energy from the brain into the ERC, if you look here at this picture, it'll be from the brain into the ERC, which is the point at the back of your neck. Okay, this is what we call ERC, which stands for Energy Reception Center. Okay, so it's right at the back of your neck here. And then step 4, continuously direct energy into the brain and transmit it into the ERC. So Step 4, you continue to visualize directing energy into the brain like so, and transmit it to the ERC. So continuously doing this, okay? Continuously doing this in step 4. So step 4 is an ongoing, process. So you don't just stop after one time, you continuously do it until alarm rings, okay? And then you let that warmth spread on its own until alarm rings. And here it notes that when you practice, keep your eyes open and direct energy accordingly. And the practice duration will depend on your age. Well, I'll assume that everyone here is above 18, so you will certainly practice it for 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Now, if you have children, young children joining you for this class, please set a separate timer for them, okay? Because the timer that I will set for everyone, that would be 5 minutes and 30 seconds. All right. So let's practice this formula, everyone. Let's practice together so that we know exactly how to practice it by yourself when you're at home. And I will play this demonstration audio, and I'll certainly leave the formula on the screen, okay, so that everyone can see. And maybe I just turn my video off so that it doesn't cover any parts of the screen. All right, so let's practice this, everyone. Let's practice this together. This is practice session for brain cell activation frequency. Timer 5 minutes and 30 seconds for participant above 18 years old. Step 1. Recite silently once. Receive Cosmic Divilite New Era NOG Level 1 frequency band. Brain cell activation frequency. Step 2. Receive energy into the brain. Receive first time. Receive second time. Receive third time. Step 3. Send energy from the brain into the ERC. Send first time. Send second time. Send third time. Step 4. Continuously direct energy into the brain and transmit it into the ERC. Let the warmth of energy spread on its own until alarm rings. Okay, so we have just completed the practice together. So thank you everyone for participating. Now, before we wrap up this class, I'd like to just have maybe 5 more minutes if anyone have any question, anything that you'd like to ask, then make sure that you pop that into the chat box of this live stream. And then while we wait for questions to come in, I'd like to share with you these QR codes. Okay, so looking at these QR codes here, we have the general notification channel. And then in the middle here, we have level 1 and 2 English chat group. This is where you can ask question, everyone. And then thirdly, we have the level 1 and 2 English channel. This is mainly for admins to post announcements and class events and formulas and things like that. So you can certainly join these groups. You can just turn on your camera and you scan these and make sure that you've already installed Telegrams to your device. Okay. So now we're just waiting for question to come in. If we don't have any question, then maybe I'll just talk about some general notes. Okay. But I'll leave it on the screen right now so that you can scan them. Now, if you haven't downloaded Telegram to your device, then of course you can rewatch this live stream and then you can scroll to this part here and you can find these codes to scan them later on if you haven't downloaded the Telegram apps to your device. Now, remember that the formula that we practiced just now, please practice them maximum 3 times from today until tomorrow's class. Okay, that is very, very good practice. So we highly recommend that you go ahead and practice that. And of course, you can, if you wish to, you can still receive healing energy from Mr. Lei. Doesn't matter which class level that you're at, you can always receive healing energy from Mr. Lei. And some people, because I'm waiting for a question to come in, but I haven't seen any. So some sort of common notes for participant who just started with NLG is that when you practice, if you feel sleepy or if you feel extremely warm or even hot, that means that there's a lack of energy. Okay, so the solution for that is you keep practicing, because you just come in, you've just been activated, so please practice. And if you're too sleepy, then it could also be that you didn't have enough sleep, everyone. So that's the basic need that of course that goes back to that self-love and the necessity to take good care of ourselves. And also, if you haven't registered, then you can still register on our link. Okay, and we've already posted that. Now, the formula that you saw just now, I will post that to our Telegram groups. Okay, so to these Telegram groups here. So make sure that you join these groups. All right, so I haven't seen any question. I guess that everything is clear for this class. It's very nice. So to just summarize today's class, we talk about a brief introduction of NLG. Energy being a practice-based method, and it helps you to flourish in life, to thrive. And of course, to use this energy, you need to have energy connection, which means you need to regulate yourself to the +1 -1 frequency. That is the connection. Sorry, that is the frequency for this energy connection, everyone. And this frequency is, of course, embedded in our everyday practice of the 5 forms of love and morality. That is basically the things that you do in your life, the way that you think in your life, the way that you behave, that you treat other people, the way that you treat yourself. So really build a strong foundation. These elements means that we can have a strong base later on to move forward and enable more miracles. All right. So I understand that we're about 10 minutes late. So sorry about that, everyone. I don't see any questions. So I think that we just wrapped it up here. Okay. And remember that level 1 consists of 2 sessions. So today's session and tomorrow's session as well. I hope to see everyone in tomorrow's session of level 1. Thank you, everyone, for participating. And on behalf of all participants today, I'd like to also thank our energy founder, Mr. Phúc Lê. A huge thank you to those who work behind the scene to make this live stream work. Thank you. And of course, once again, thank you for everyone for being very interested in NLG. And if you like it, please share it with your friends and family members. And I hope to see you in day 2 of level 1, which is tomorrow. And remember that you have your homework. Okay, I will post the formulas on our Telegram groups as soon as I can after this class. Okay, so enjoy the rest of your day, everyone, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.